Okay, that was really, really weird. I wonder why it was doing that. Oh, I have a thought. Anywho, while I figured this out, hello again, world. It's still Wednesday, the 17th of February, 2020. Present time is now 2:22 p.m. Oh, look, it's right here too. According to my watch, we were without power for, I guess, right around an hour. But back now, so things are nominal for the moment. Yep, that was the trick. That explains things. Okay. I had some things going that shouldn't have been going. They were throwing me off a bit. Ooh, I mean, come to think of it, I do have like a little farm I could. Yeah. In the future, I'll leverage that a little more heavily. Anyway, prior to this sudden and unfortunate loss of power, I was talking about, I believe I'd gotten to the part of the story in which I started sharing what happened as we were finding ourselves with limited access to water. I mean, of course, it's abundant. You know, you have snow and ice, so you could go out and collect that. But what I did, I grabbed this pitcher I happen to have in the pantry, and I filled it up. And then I put the lid on it. And then I was looking at the water and thinking, well, heck, you can see it now. There are a lot of bubbles, but it just didn't look quite 100. So I grabbed this bottle I have. It's got a filter. And I started using this to first filter my drinking water, my potentially gritty, little dirty water. And as we didn't have power at the time, I couldn't use this electric kettle. I think there was a kettle, but it belonged to my folks, and I returned it to them at some point. Because I figured, I have an electric kettle, what do I need a regular kettle for? So I didn't choose this kettle. I'm going to let my parents hold on to it. They can figure it out. So that's what I did. Yeah. Started filtering my water. I had to go boil it just to be doubly safe. Fortunately, over here, I have plenty of pots and pans. Not necessarily a set, just assorted pots and pans. You know, I drip water. When it got really bad, it's just keeping this thing topped off. Dripping water in and keeping the lid on so as to avoid, as much as possible, avoid evaporation. Even though, this thing holds I think a gallon, which is a lot of water for one person and a dog to go through. If you're just trying to drink, it's a lot of water. 1 gallon gets you through Oh, I don't know. If you're really trying to ration it out, you could live for a while on a single gallon of water. So we weren't hurting for it. It was water. It just wasn't so nice. You had to treat it a bit. Anyway, the power remained out. This was Monday. The power remained out. I walked Paul a few times, not counting. Saw plenty of people out, just walking around the neighborhood, driving slowly, waving from their vehicles as they passed. Mostly trucks and SUVs, because there was a lot of ice. A little bit of ice. There was a little bit of ice and there was a little bit of snow. Just safer to be in a truck or an SUV. In those conditions. A bit more weight on the wheels. So to stay warm, I don't have a manual coffee grinder. Wasn't able to consume any coffee. I didn't want to open the fridge because I had no idea how long the power would be out. And it was cold enough outside that you could have, if you were really, really worried about spoilage, you could have taken stuff from your freezer and just stuck it outside. But that would also entail opening the doors and allowing heat to be lost in the environment. I just kept the stuff closed. Had a little bit of this green tea remaining, but I also have some of this stuff and a few bags. My father brought these, I don't even know when he brought these in. This was ages ago. It's been years that this has just been sitting in the pantry. Because normally, during most of the year, I don't touch tea. I have a cup of coffee and just drink water the rest of the day. But when you're cold, you've got access to gas, a little bit of water, no electricity. It makes sense. Why not have some tea? It's nice. Nothing like a spot of tea. This, by the way, is the third, maybe fourth time that I'm steeping tea from this little bag. A little bit goes a long way. Anywho, it was cold. Just chilling, trying to drink some tea, keep warm. I polished off, on Monday I ate all of the dried coconut the hair cutter sent my way. I was just snacking. Sugar is awfully addicting. You get a little bit of that in your system and it's like, wow, I want more of that. I made sure to chew it up. Enjoy my dried coconut. Thank God! Exclamation mark. Did you have the opportunity to look at the X-ray as well? Question mark. Where were we? Tea. Yeah. Dried coconut. I did all this while sitting by that little thing. Well, it's obscured, but you know, the fireplace is there. Natural gas fireplace. And it turns out that switch on the wall, it's not really a power switch. I thought it was a power switch. Like, it, you know, it was wired up to the mains power or something. I don't think it's actually wired up to the mains. It's just bridging, it's, you know, contacting and then it's doing something. It's just like strictly mechanical switch. It's only being used for the mechanical bit. So I was able to run the natural gas fireplace for warmth, and it was important to do it. I think that's what saved this house from burst pipes, at least the interior pipes, because I've talked, at this point I've seen 2 neighbors who've suffered from pipe bursts in their attics. One being Colombian Mike, the other Eduardo. Speaking of neighbors, Colombian Mike shared that one of our neighbors passed, complications arising from COVID. This painter that painted houses. I don't think he just painted. Literally a painter. He apparently had been discharged from the hospital on Friday, and then was coming back home, and then just the lungs failed. And Mike was speculating maybe it had to do with the fact that he painted for an entire career. You know, a lot of fumes and stuff, and maybe that contributed to all of it. Because the guy had been on a ventilator prior to discharge. For a while. He was hospitalized for a while. I didn't really know. And then his name, Voltaire. Great name. Voltaire. I saw him with his garage door open on Sunday morning, was it? He was out there, garage door open, he had a space heater running, and I noticed that he was bundled up, but he had a mask. At first I kind of walked past, but then I figured, hey, let me check in with him. He cautioned me, like, yeah, I'm isolating, tested positive. He works in COVID ward. And for the longest time, you know, on and off, we were talking about just how strange this virus is. And he was saying he didn't want to get vaccinated. I think he was a little spooked by the vaccine. Saying that he wouldn't sign up first, even though he's a first responder type. He's on the front lines. But now that he's come positive and tested positive, you know, maybe he won't need to be vaccinated. Nature will do its thing as long as he survives, and he'll probably survive. Right? Odds are much better than not that he'll survive. I think today I saw his garage door open, so I saw his garage door open and he was out there again with the space heater. And he'll be okay. He'll probably be okay. Let's see. I'm I'm wearing, what do you call this, long johns? Doubled up. Thought today to quit doubling up. Just go back to as if everything were nominal. But it's not yet. The worst is over for us. But things still aren't 100. Still coming back. So I'll give it time. On Sunday, mostly Paul and I just hung out by the fireplace. As the skies were starting to darken, I knew I didn't want to eat too much, even though I had some food here. I didn't want to go through the trouble of cleaning up pots and pans. I'm lazy. I'd already snacked. So I just had some tea. And what else? It was something. I had something else with tea, I think. Maybe I just drank tea. Drank tea. Yeah, I think that was the first time drinking the tea, even. It's a bit of a blur. And of course, I've gotten so used to this that I virtually stopped writing. It's bad. Just kind of trusting that, well, I'll be back on before we know it. What normally happens, not much. It's life. Yeah, anyway, Sunday, I went to sleep pretty early. The skies got dark by 7, 8 o'clock. Really little else, but very, very limited coverage, very limited signal with the phone due to the extensive blackout. Far from our nearest operational cell tower. I tried talking to my sister earlier that day, but it was just hopeless. FaceTime audio wouldn't work because there just wasn't enough bandwidth. So I switched over to the regular cell, something I very, very rarely would do. But it was the only way to get signal out. And then even then, the line would sometimes drop. I have difficulty hearing each other. So I eventually just gave up. Like, yeah, this is hopeless. And we talk for a little bit and then go kaput. Maybe say no service at all. Maybe have trouble connecting if I try calling back immediately. It's just save the phone that little bit of bandwidth for more important things than going over her trip to Hawaii. I took a risk on Sunday and I went to bed with the fireplace still on because it was really cold inside the house. After I lay down in bed with my long underwear on, my t-shirt, and I still needed to grab another blanket. I grabbed another blanket and went to sleep. And then, at 11:45, Sunday night, all the lights came back on. Power was restored. So here we suffered a continuous blackout of what? It's like math, it's hard. 22 hours? Is that right? Just about 22 hours. And then when things came back on, I didn't actually check my I forgot. I didn't realize I had. This thing. Because it's, it's not like a. It's this disposable thing, right? It's just a little trinket that I've kept laying around, and I didn't think to check it. With all the systems back up, I was looking, and it must have dipped. The coldest it got indoors was probably around 50 degrees, or just under 50. And then next to the fireplace, it's much more tolerable. But that's 50 as measured from the thermostats, and those are all in the interior living spaces. In the attic, who knows how cold it got. I don't know. But I really think that if I hadn't run that fireplace, we very well could have had a pipe burst. These houses, they're not particularly well insulated. We don't count on this type of thing happening here. Anywho, with the power restored, suddenly we had everything. Except for, I think, water. Water was very limited. Oh, this is good. Cool. I think I even got up and I played the game some more. I just got up and alright, cool. Well, it seems like the power's back. I mean, just charge up the things that were running low, like the power bank. I mean, boil some more water. I think I played the game some more. Woohoo. Celebration. Yeah, I did. I played the game some more, and then it was pretty late, maybe 1:30 or so, and I was thinking, well, the power's still back up. I could eat that frozen pizza I have in the freezer. But water's kind of limited. It's a lot of salt. I'll pass. From there, it's just progressively better. With everything more or less nominal here. Next day, after taking care of some basics, after having coffee again. It's Tuesday, yesterday. Around lunchtime, I decided, yeah, you know what? I will have that frozen pizza. Because I haven't really had anything substantive to eat for a while. And it's easy. Oh, in fact, what did I do yesterday? Yesterday, the first thing I did, I preheated the oven, and then I made banana bread. And then with I played the game while the banana bread was baking, and then I thought, okay, let me go ahead and heat up that frozen pizza. Play the game some more, and then I ate the frozen pizza. Let's see, I used that cutting board, that knife, set it there, and sat down and ate my entire frozen pizza. And then I got a call from my father, just checking in. First time we were able to talk in a while, and I informed him we had power again since 11:45. I notified as soon as I could. Power had been restored here. He's saying, well, we're running really low on power on our devices. Wanted to come over here and charge things up. So I went over to my mother and father's home to go pick up my father and bring him back over here so he could charge up his stuff. Checking in on my folks. Took the main roads. Everything up here was fine. around this block. Driving down a little, you see that there was no power. Street lights inoperable. So everything becomes a four-way stop. But thankfully not too many cars out. Yesterday was nice and sunny too. That helped a lot. Helped to reduce a lot of the snow and ice that was still on the roadways. At my mother and father's home, my father came out after I parked the car. He made ready to get in. First we went back into the house. I wanted to see how my mother was doing. And there was this smell in the house. The smell was because they had together harvested a lot of this one vegetable, shaosun. They apparently don't do too well with freezing temperatures, and so they took what they had and they were cooking it all. So the air was very heavy with the smell of cooking shaosun. They have a fireplace going too. Told me that in the morning at their home, they registered a temperature of 39 degrees in their bedroom when they woke up. 39 degrees in their bedroom. But they were happily keeping busy and staying warm. Hopefully not fighting too much over little nonsense. They prepared a cooler of stuff for me. Father showed me what was inside. It was, did he show me over there? I think we checked it when I got back here. Anyway, it's difficult to refuse these things. Even though I tell them I'm fine. I don't need it. I'm not going to consume it. I ate a frozen pizza. I don't need more food. Not for a long time. They have dehydration before starvation by a long shot. There's plenty of fat. Anywho, my mother was still busy, so I brought my father over here, unloaded the stuff. You got to kick back a little bit while the device is charged, catch up on some news, see how the stock market had done. You know, things that you do when everything's normal. When things are nominal. You're not in the midst of a disaster. We chatted a bit, but mostly just. I didn't particularly care to talk too much because water was still limited. It slowed to a trickle. Meanwhile, he was really urging me, like, hey, you should fill up your bathtub so that you have water for flushing the toilet and stuff. Fill up all the things. There was so little pressure, and I had feared that maybe the external pipe feeding water into the house had frozen, but I think that I checked it that first night when we got power back. And I saw that it had been insulated fairly well. And I reasoned that with the heat loss, it was probably okay. Heat loss from the home, it was probably okay. They were probably okay. Anyway, we check things in the backyard. In the backyard, I probably will want to spend some time out there. I'll take you out there and you can see what's left from a distance. I've been subsisting on cake. For the past 24 hours. It was in the cooler. Anyway, my father, after chilling out for a bit, he got a notification on his phone from one of his apps. Someone reported that power was back in his neighborhood. So we loaded up and I drove him back. And on the way back, passed by one house in the neighborhood. Someone had put out a handwritten sign that said free water. So it's good seeing neighbors just putting it out there. They had enough and they were willing to share, help each other out. Arrived at my parents' home to discover that the power had not in fact been restored. My father saw that one of his neighbors, the ones that bought in not too long ago, corner lot, they were outside. So he went and chatted with them. Also a Chinese family. Came back into the house to report that they'd suffered from a pipe burst and ceiling had caved in or something. It was bad. Water everywhere. Big headache. Meanwhile, I had a little hot chocolate she made at home. Enjoyed a mug of that. And wished them well. Came back here and resumed playing my game. I figured if they really needed me, they'd be able to reach out by that point. The game was interesting. So I'm walking Paul yesterday. It's like, in the evening around sunset, saw Colombian Mike's garage open. Saw the water dripping down from the garage, the ceiling of the garage, and chatted with him a bit. Smoked a cigarette with another soul who was, she opened the door from the house to the garage. Paul was waiting at that door. She had a cup of coffee in her hand, a cigarette. And then when Paul darted in, she panicked, she jumped. She got coffee on her cigarette. Unfortunately, there was a pack, an open pack in the garage, with 2 left. Paul was shivering a bit. She was chiding me for not putting a sweater on for Paul, but he's pretty hardy. He really surprises me. No, not only are you cute, your coat is also pretty functional. You are very resilient. You're a highly durable little dog. This guy knows how to take care of himself. Kind of. He needs regular grooming. He needs help with his teeth. Scraped them a little bit yesterday. Yeah, that's what it smells like. So good to have water.